Hi, I'm Gareth Marlowe, and I wanted to talk today about using trust as a glue gun to help you to repair relationships on your team. Uh, so, a few years ago, I was managing a couple of people, and they were really different from each other, and they really didn't get on well with each other. And this is a problem because they were both working in the same part of the company. They both had to work together quite a lot, and it was generating a lot of issues. And where I guess where I had the aha moment was when I realised the way that they see each other is really different from the way that I see both of them. So although I could see that they were really different, I held both of them in a lot of really positive regard. So one was very, or is very meticulous, good attention to detail, great sort of completer finisher person, pretty disciplined, quite a reserved personality, I suppose. So didn't really wear their heart on their sleeve very much. The other person, very creative, very good at generating new ideas, would set a million things in motion, but not really necessarily hang around to see any of them through to the end. So not very disciplined, but great ideas and some really strategic ideas. Working styles very different, and in the second case, the personality really different. Very much, very demonstrative person. Both, you knew exactly how they were feeling, good or bad. You knew exactly how they were feeling, and I thought that both of them were absolutely fantastic, but they didn't see each other that way. And when I say about using trust as a glue gun to try and repair some of this stuff, I wouldn't say that I solved the problem. I wouldn't say that we got to the point where they were, now best buddies and drinking friends and so on and so forth. But we certainly got to the point where they could work together reasonably effectively. And the way that I think it came about was that I talked to them both individually, both about the problems that they saw with the other person, but also the effect that their own behaviour had on the relationship. Not in a judgmental way, because actually I thought that both of them, in their own way, they were fine. It wasn't much about that they should be really doing to change how they were approaching work, let's say. But they just kind of weren't seeing the good in the other. So talking to them one-on-one did two things. One is it sort of helped me to share my perspective, and because they both trusted me, they weren't fearful that I had some kind of separate agenda. So the fact that they both trusted me, here's me, here's one person, here's the other person. They both trusted me, and through that trust over there, I could start to forge this stronger connection between the two of them. But the other thing is that, there was potentially some stuff in the feedback that they had about each other which was valid, and it helped me to take that information from them and share it with the other person in a way that was hopefully helpful, that wasn't going to drive these kind of spiraling down of weakening the relationship. But also allowed me to open the door to having a three-way conversation between the three of them, between the three of us. And what that meant was that we could spend most of our time in the conversation talking about what they had in common, and the rest of the time in the conversation just really explaining why the difference that they had were just down to worldview and the way that they were sort of set about spending their day, spending their working day, or even thinking about work, not because they were fundamentally a bad person or out to screw the other one over or anything like that. So the huge amounts of misconceptions that you end up making about other people's motives when they just don't behave in the way that you're expecting them to do. And by using the fact that we had a good sense of trust between me and the two of them as individuals, meant that I was able to, I think, help them to understand the strengths that the other had and see some of the differences in more perspective. So yeah, just a little story there about how me having strong trust relationship with two of the other people on the team that I was leading meant that I was able to help strengthen the relationship between the two of those. Interested in your thoughts on what I've just said, but that's it for now. I'm Gareth. Hopefully see you next time.